This happens to me quite a lot, but I've been given the wind-up before I've even started to speak because you all want to get on the march and so do I, but I want to say a few things that are really, really, really important. The first thing is to thank you all for coming today. Seeing all of you out here today gives those of us that fight on the front lines for these battles enormous hope and enormous courage. So I want to start by thanking you very, very much for what you're doing out there helping us along. I don't get a vote in this particular piece of legislation, and some may well say, why drag yourself into it? And the truth of the matter is, this is the most important issue that we will face this year in South Australia, but it is not the only one. And I want to make that observation because looking out and seeing all of you out here today gives me enormous joy and hope, but it also does give me a degree of frustration. And the reason I say that is because whatever happens in Parliament behind us next week, that bill will rise again. We know it will. They always do. And if we're not dealing with that bill again in future, we'll be dealing with an incarnation of the Victorian Conversion Therapy Bill, which passed last week. We will get our own version of that, which will come to South Australian Parliament this year. And we're also going to get a reincarnation, as was reported today in the Advertiser, of the abortion bill, which we defeated last year. And then there's the Equal Opportunity Act amendments, which are going to be incursions into religious freedoms. And then on top of that, we're going to have a host of other reincarnated versions of these bills. And I raise that for this reason. And that is because looking out at this crowd today, I see enough people here that can change the course of the political framework of this state in the blink of an eye. And so I want to touch upon the words that Tishan mentioned earlier on, which were, when we're on this walk today, and we will kick off very shortly, I want you to walk, and I want you to walk with this bill that we are going to defeat in mind. And when we get home, I want you to think about the things that you can do that will assist the future fights. I want you to think about whether or not you should be writing to your local newspapers, running for local government, getting your influence out there. And I want you to think about whether or not you should be joining a political party in order to make sure that the right people go to Parliament and in order to make sure that the right policy comes before the Parliament, before it even reaches the bill status. So I want you to think about that, and I want you to think about how we go about defeating this bill as it comes up in ad infinitum. So thank you for being here. Let's get on with the march and let's fight back.